Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every life, a moment when the weight of the world seems unbearable, when the journey appears endless, and fatigue whispers in your ear, "Stop now, you've done enough." But I am here to tell you, as firmly as I know the sun will rise tomorrow, that moment is not the time to quit. It is the time to push forward. You see, every man or woman who has ever achieved greatness has walked through the valley of exhaustion, but they kept going. Not because they weren't tired, but because they knew that on the other side of fatigue lies the reward that only persistence can unlock. So I urge you today, burn this truth into your mind. Tired is not a signal to stop. It is a test of how badly you want what you're working for. And if you can endure just a little longer, you will break through. Fatigue is the final guardian before success. It is the last barrier between you and the realization of your dreams. The final test to see if you have the strength, the desire, and the commitment to push through to the other side. Every great achievement, every monumental victory has required the person pursuing it to endure moments of exhaustion. It's in these moments when doubt creeps in, when the mind starts to tell you that you've done enough, that you've earned rest, and that perhaps this pursuit isn't meant for you after all. Yet, it's precisely at this point, when you feel you can go no further, that you are on the verge of a breakthrough. Understand this truth. The point of greatest fatigue is often the moment just before success reveals itself. In fact, many people never reach the pinnacle of their dreams because they surrender when they're tired. They quit just a step away from the finish line. It's easy to mistake weariness for defeat, to believe that fatigue is a sign of failure. But in reality, it's a sign of progress. The journey toward any meaningful goal is not a straight path. It's filled with obstacles, setbacks, and the kind of exhaustion that seems insurmountable. But if you look at the great achievers in history, you will find that the one thing they all have in common is the ability to endure when their bodies and minds were telling them to stop. When you're tired, it's not the time to pause or walk away. It's the time to dig deep and push forward. Fatigue is a momentary state, but success is a long-term outcome. If you listen to the voice of exhaustion, if you give in to it, you're simply trading short-term relief for long-term regret. It's easy to say you're done, to convince yourself that you've given enough, that you deserve to take a break. But what you may not realize is that by stopping, by accepting fatigue as a reason to quit, you're denying yourself the very thing you've been working for, the accomplishment, the fulfillment, the success. Every major breakthrough in life comes after overcoming a series of tests. Fatigue is one of the most powerful tests you will face. It pushes you to the edge, challenges your resolve, and tests your commitment to the dream you've set out to achieve. The world rewards those who can endure hardship, who can endure pain, and who can continue despite the overwhelming urge to quit. The secret to success isn't avoiding fatigue. It's learning how to use it as a fuel to propel you forward. The next time you find yourself exhausted, remember that you are being tested, and it is through passing this test, through refusing to succumb to the fatigue, that you will gain the strength to go further than you ever thought possible. Think of the most successful people you know, whether in business, athletics, or any field. What do they have in common? They don't stop when they're tired. They push beyond their limits. They continue to work, to strive, to push forward with a singular focus on the goal, even when every part of them is begging for rest. This is where many fall short. The difference between success and failure often isn't talent or resources, but perseverance. Those who succeed are not necessarily the ones who never feel tired, but the ones who refuse to let their tiredness stop them from reaching their destination. Fatigue doesn't have the power to prevent you from reaching your goals unless you give it that power. You can choose to move beyond it, to continue even when your body tells you to stop. And there is something magical about reaching that point. When you're exhausted, when you're on the verge of giving up, but you choose to keep going, that's when you tap into your true potential. That's when the breakthrough happens. It's as if the universe itself has been waiting for you to prove your commitment, to show that you're willing to sacrifice just a little more, to give just a little bit extra to earn your victory. The moment you decide not to quit, you open the door to a new level of achievement. But remember, fatigue is not an obstacle you can simply wish away. It's a natural part of the process. The question is not whether you will feel tired on your journey, but whether you will let that tiredness determine your course of action. Will you let it stop you, or will you use it as a stepping stone to your ultimate goal? The choice, as always, is yours. In the end, fatigue isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign that you're nearing the end of a long journey. And in that moment of exhaustion, when your body tells you to rest, remember that what's waiting for you on the other side is something worth every ounce of effort, every ounce of strength you have left. So the next time fatigue comes knocking at your door, recognize it for what it is: the final guardian before success, testing your determination to keep going. And when you pass that test, you will find yourself closer to your dreams than you ever thought possible. Desire backed by willpower conquers exhaustion. It is not enough to simply want something, to wish for it, to dream of it. Desire in and of itself is a powerful force, but when it is paired with unshakable willpower, it becomes a driving engine capable of pushing you beyond any limitations, including the deepest fatigue. You see, desire is the spark that ignites the fire, but willpower is the fuel that keeps it burning when the winds of doubt try to extinguish it. Every great achievement begins with a deep, burning desire. It is this desire that gives you the reason to wake up each day and strive toward your goal, even when the journey is long and difficult. Desire is the foundation, the motivator, but it alone cannot carry you across the finish line. It is the willpower, the strength of your mind and character that propels you to keep going, even when exhaustion tries to take control. Desire, when paired with willpower, creates a synergy that can defy the limitations of the human body and mind. Nacho. It turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. When you're tired, when your body is screaming for rest, and your mind is clouded with doubt, it's the willpower that keeps you moving. Willpower is that inner strength that says, I will not stop. It is the voice that rises above the exhaustion and reminds you of why you started in the first place. It's the ability to push through the discomfort and fatigue and continue forward, no matter how heavy your steps may feel. Without willpower, desire is like a flame without fuel. It flickers and dies when the first gust of wind blows in. But when willpower is added to desire, that flame becomes unstoppable. It grows stronger with every obstacle, every setback, and every challenge that comes your way. Here. Yee! It's easy to see desire in the beginning. When you start a new project or a new journey, your heart is full of excitement and anticipation. But as time passes, as the challenges stack up and the road becomes harder, desire alone is not enough to sustain you. Willpower is what keeps you moving when the excitement fades, when the novelty wears off, and when you're faced with the weariness of long, hard work. It's what turns mere intention into action and action into results. Without willpower, all the desire in the world will remain just that, a wish. But when you combine desire with the power of your will, there is nothing that can stand in your way. Every successful person you admire has faced moments of fatigue, doubt, and discouragement. They have experienced days when their bodies and minds screamed at them to stop, to take a break, to rest. But what set them apart, what made them successful, was their ability to rely on willpower to push through those moments. They didn't allow fatigue to take control of the situation. Instead, they harnessed the power of their will, fortified by their desire, to continue forward. This is why willpower is so vital. It's what separates the dreamers from the achievers. It's important to note that willpower isn't something that just appears when you need it. It is a muscle that must be developed and strengthened over time. Every time you choose to push through tiredness, to refuse to give in to the urge to stop, you are building your willpower. Every small decision to keep going, to take one more step, even when you feel like you can't, is an investment in your future success. Willpower is like a reservoir, and each time you dig deep to keep going, you are filling that reservoir with strength that will help you in the future. Desire and willpower go hand in hand. Desire gives you the reason to endure, but it is willpower that enables you to act on that desire. When you're exhausted, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you simply can't go on. But when your desire is strong enough and your willpower is unbreakable, you will find the strength to keep moving forward. It's the combination of these two forces, the burning desire and the unwavering will, that will carry you to the places where others have given up. Think of willpower as the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Without it, desire alone will not get you there. Willpower keeps you on the path, keeps you moving toward your goal, no matter how difficult the journey becomes. When you combine desire with willpower, you create an unstoppable force that will carry you through any storm, across any obstacle, and beyond any exhaustion. The key to success is not simply wanting it, It's wanting it so badly that you will push through the tiredness, the challenges, and the hardships. You will find the strength to keep going, even when it seems impossible. And with every step, with every moment of perseverance, your desire will grow stronger and your willpower will become unbreakable. Together, they will lead you to success no matter how tired you may feel along the way. Temporary pain leads to permanent strength. The truth about success is that it is rarely easy. The road to achievement is often paved with hardship, sacrifice, and struggle. Every person who has ever risen to the top has faced moments of intense discomfort, challenge, and yes, pain. But this pain is not something to fear or avoid. It is a vital part of the process, for it is through enduring and overcoming pain that we build the strength necessary to achieve greatness. The pain you feel today is not a permanent fixture in your life. It is a temporary challenge that will forge within you a strength that will carry you far beyond the struggles you face now. Think about any significant accomplishment you've seen in the lives of others, whether in sports, business, or personal growth. Behind every success, you'll find a story of hardship. The athlete who pushes their body to the limit, enduring grueling training sessions that leave them exhausted and sore, is not only building physical strength, but also mental and emotional resilience. The entrepreneur who faces countless setbacks, rejections, and failures before finding success has built a tenacity that becomes unshakable in the face of future challenges. The person who overcomes personal tragedy or hardship learns to adapt, to grow, and to develop an inner strength that can never be taken away. It is through this process that we become stronger. The concept of temporary pain leading to permanent strength is not just an idea. It's a universal truth. Pain, whether it's physical, emotional, or mental, is often seen as something to be avoided. But the truth is that pain is an essential part of growth. Think about how muscles develop. They grow and become stronger only through resistance. When you lift weights, you place stress on your muscles, causing tiny tears. It is through the healing process of these tears that muscles become bigger and stronger. This principle doesn't just apply to the body, it applies to every aspect of life. The challenges you face, the hardships you endure, and the pain you feel are all forms of resistance that build your inner strength. There is a difference between pain that is destructive and pain that is constructive. Destructive pain is the kind that results from poor choices, lack of preparation, or self-sabotage. But constructive pain is the kind that arises when you are stretching yourself beyond your limits. When you are pushing toward a goal, this is the pain that leads to growth, to transformation, and ultimately to success. It's easy to look at someone who has achieved great success and think that they must have had an easier path, that they were somehow spared the struggles and setbacks that you've experienced. But the truth is, no one is exempt from pain. Everyone who has achieved greatness has experienced their share of difficulty. The difference is that they didn't let the pain stop them. They used it as fuel to keep going, to keep growing, and to keep pushing forward. There is a certain strength that only comes from having faced pain head on and emerged victorious. This strength cannot be bought or given. It must be earned through experience, through endurance, and through the willingness to face hardship and continue moving forward despite it. When you face temporary pain with determination and resilience, you are building a foundation of strength that will serve you for the rest of your life. The obstacles you overcome today will make you stronger tomorrow, and every challenge you face will only add to the unshakable strength you are developing within yourself. What many fail to realize is that the strength you gain from pain is not just physical or external. It is an internal strength, one that empowers you to face any future adversity with confidence. This kind of strength builds character. It gives you the ability to persevere when things get tough, to stay focused on your goals even when the road is rough, and to keep moving forward when it feels like the odds are against you. The more you endure, the more you develop the mental toughness necessary to tackle the challenges that will inevitably come your way in the future. Moreover, the process of overcoming pain also builds wisdom. You learn from every setback, every challenge, and every mistake. You gain insight into yourself, your capabilities, and the world around you. With each experience of pain, you become more resourceful, more resilient, and more capable of handling whatever life throws your way. Pain teaches you lessons that success alone could never provide. It refines you, sharpens you, and molds you into a person capable of handling greater challenges and achieving even greater successes. The key to understanding this concept is recognizing that pain, in all its forms, is temporary. It may feel overwhelming in the moment, but it will not last forever. And in its wake, you will emerge stronger, more capable, and more prepared for the next step in your journey. The strength you gain from overcoming temporary pain will stay with you, and it will become part of your foundation, making it easier to face the next challenge, the next goal, or the next chapter in your life. So the next time you encounter pain or struggle, don't see it as a sign to quit. We'll see it as a sign to quit. See it as an opportunity to grow, to become stronger, and to move one step closer to the person you are meant to be. Embrace the pain, for it is through that pain that you will find your true strength. Persistence transforms struggle into triumph. In life, it's not the easy moments that define us, but the struggles, the setbacks, and the challenges that we face. And it is not how many times we fall that matters, but how many times we get back up. The true measure of success is not found in avoiding adversity, but in our ability to persist, to keep moving forward despite the difficulties that life throws our way. It is persistence that turns struggle into victory, that takes us from where we are to where we want to be, no matter how many obstacles we must overcome. Every person who has achieved greatness has had to endure hardship, face failure, and battle against the odds. But what sets these individuals apart from others is their unwavering persistence. They didn't quit when things got tough. They didn't give up when it seemed impossible. Instead, they used every challenge as an opportunity to grow stronger, to learn, and to keep pushing toward their goals. They understood that success is not an event, it's a journey, and the journey requires persistence. Persistence is the engine that drives progress. It's what allows you to take one more step, even when you're exhausted and unsure of the outcome. When the road ahead is uncertain, and when the future feels unclear, persistence is the force that keeps you going. It's the willingness to continue, to press on, despite the doubts, the failures, and the obstacles that stand in your way. Persistence does not guarantee that the road will be smooth, but it does guarantee that you will not give up, that you will keep moving forward no matter what. Think about the greatest inventors, entrepreneurs, and leaders throughout history. None of them achieved success by sitting back and waiting for things to fall into place. They faced rejection, criticism, and failure. But what made them different was their persistence. Thomas Edison, for example, failed thousands of times before he succeeded in inventing the light bulb. Henry Ford faced repeated financial setbacks before his vision for the automobile industry came to fruition. These individuals didn't let their failures define them. Instead, they used them as stepping stones toward success. Every failure was simply another lesson, another opportunity to refine their approach and keep moving forward. And in the end, their persistence transformed their struggles into triumphs. Persistence doesn't just help you overcome obstacles, it also helps you build resilience. The more you persist in the face of adversity, the stronger you become. Each time you keep going, even when you're faced with difficulty, you are developing a level of mental and emotional fortitude that will carry you through future challenges. Persistence builds character. It teaches you to keep going even when the situation feels hopeless. It reminds you that success is not about being perfect or avoiding mistakes, but about showing up every day and doing the work, regardless of the obstacles that arise. What many people don't realize is that persistence is not just about working harder or longer. It's about working smarter, adjusting when needed, and never losing sight of your goal. The journey towards success is rarely linear. There will be detours, roadblocks, and moments of doubt. Persistence means being flexible, being willing to adapt, and finding new ways to move forward, even when the original plan doesn't work out. It's about finding solutions instead of being defeated by problems and continuing to forge ahead no matter how long it takes to get to your destination. One of the most important qualities of persistence is that it allows you to remain focused on your long-term goals. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't go as planned or when progress seems slow. But persistence helps you keep your eyes on the bigger picture. It reminds you that success doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, effort, and commitment. Persistence is the force that keeps you moving forward, even when it feels like you're not making progress. And when you look back on the journey, you will see that each small step you took, each moment of persistence, led you closer to your goal. In fact, some of the most successful people in the world will tell you that their greatest strength wasn't their talent, their intelligence, or their resources. It was their ability to persist. They didn't let failure stop them. They didn't let disappointment or setbacks define them. They kept going, no matter what. And that persistence eventually paid off. It is the constant refusal to quit, to throw in the towel, that separates those who succeed from those who fall short. The beauty of persistence is that it is within your control. You may not be able to control every circumstance or outcome in your life, but you control whether or not you give up. When faced with challenges, you have the power to choose persistence. You can choose to keep going, to keep fighting for your dreams, even when the path is difficult. And in doing so, you will transform your struggles into triumphs. You will create a life defined not by the obstacles you faced, but by the strength, resilience, and determination you've shown in overcoming them. Persistence is not just a trait, it is a mindset, a way of life. It is the understanding that failure is not the end, but merely a part of the process. It is the unwavering belief that no matter how difficult the journey, you will continue to move forward one step at a time. And with each step, you will transform your struggles into victories, your setbacks into comebacks, and your dreams into reality. The moment you feel weakest is when you're closest to victory. Often in life, when we are at our lowest, when we feel drained, defeated, and on the verge of giving up, we are actually standing on the precipice of something great. This is a concept that many people overlook. They see weakness as a signal to quit, to surrender, to walk away. But in truth, it is during these times of feeling weakest that we are closest to our breakthrough, closest to the realization of our dreams. This is when we are most vulnerable, and yet it is precisely in this vulnerability that the seeds of our greatest strength are planted. Think about it for a moment. Every significant achievement in history, every personal triumph has been preceded by a time when the individual felt like giving up. It's in those moments of deep exhaustion and self-doubt that many people make a choice to either walk away or to dig deep and keep going. The ones who choose to push through, who refuse to let their weakness define them, are the ones who eventually achieve success. So, it's easy to believe that weakness is a permanent state, that when you feel weak, you are destined for failure. But this is a misconception. Weakness is simply a moment in time, a temporary state that often signals that you are approaching the end of a struggle, that victory is closer than you realize. When you feel your lowest, when everything inside you is telling you to stop, it's often a sign that the hard work you've put in is about to pay off. It's like the final stretch of a race when your body is exhausted and every part of you wants to collapse. But it's also the moment when your perseverance is being tested most. In that moment, your mind may be telling you to quit, to take a break, to rest. But if you push through that moment, if you keep going despite your fatigue, you will often find that the breakthrough you've been waiting for is just around the corner. The key to understanding this truth is recognizing that weakness is not a reflection of your worth or your ability. It's simply a natural part of the human experience. We all face moments of exhaustion, frustration, and despair. But it's important to remember that these feelings are temporary. They come and go. What matters is how you respond to them. When you feel weakest, you are being tested. It is not a sign to quit, but a sign that you need to dig deeper, to reach within yourself and summon the strength to keep going. The greatest victories in life come not from the moments of ease, but from the moments when you are at your lowest, when you are at the brink of giving up, but you choose to push forward anyway. There's a saying that the night is darkest just before the dawn, and this holds true in our lives as well. When we feel the most exhausted, the most overwhelmed, it is often right before we experience our breakthrough. So, our minds may be clouded with doubt and our bodies may feel like they can't go any further. The moment you feel weakest is the moment when your character is being tested the most. And it is in this test that your strength is forged. This idea is crucial because it teaches us that weakness is not something to be feared, but something to embrace. It's through our weakest moments that we build resilience, develop mental fortitude, and learn to trust in our ability to overcome challenges. When you push through the hardest times, you gain confidence in yourself and your capacity to endure. Every time you overcome a feeling of weakness, you build a little more strength, a little more courage, and a little more belief in your ability to succeed. In fact, some of the most successful people in history have openly shared how their darkest moments, the moments when they felt completely defeated, were the times when they came closest to their breakthrough. These people didn't wait for their strength to magically appear. They didn't give in to their feelings of weakness. Instead, they chose to take action, to keep moving forward, even when every part of them was telling them to stop. It was in these moments that their greatest accomplishments were born. They learned to embrace their weakness, to use it as fuel for their journey, and to realize that the moment of greatest weakness was often the prelude to their greatest victory. So, when you find yourself feeling weak, when you feel like giving up, remember that this is just a passing moment. You are closer to your goal than you think. The moment of struggle, of fatigue, is not the end of the journey. It's the beginning of a new phase, the final stretch before you achieve your victory. It's in these moments that you must hold on to your faith, push through the pain, and keep moving forward. For it is in the moments when you feel weakest that you're actually closest to victory. Your mind is the most powerful tool you possess. It is the key to everything you will ever achieve in life. From the smallest task to the grandest dreams, your mind shapes your reality, dictates your actions, and determines your success. The power of your thoughts, your beliefs, and your mindset cannot be overstated. Every achievement, every goal, and every breakthrough starts with a thought. If you can control your mind, you can control your destiny. The problem is that most people allow their minds to be controlled by external circumstances, by fear, doubt, or negative self talk. They let their minds dictate their actions instead of using their minds to shape their outcomes. The first step to unlocking the power of your mind is understanding that your thoughts create your reality. What you think about, you bring about. You bring about. If you constantly focus on the obstacles, the difficulties, and the setbacks, then that's what you will attract into your life. But if you focus on the possibilities, the opportunities, and the solutions, you will begin to see your world transform. Your mind is like a garden. If you plant seeds of positivity, determination, and self belief, you will reap the fruits of success. If you plant seeds of fear, doubt, and negativity, you will harvest frustration and defeat. The choice is yours. Your mind can either be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. It all depends on how you choose to use it. If you allow yourself to be controlled by negative thoughts and limiting beliefs, you will find it difficult to move forward. You will feel stuck, unable to make progress toward your goals. On the other hand, if you train your mind to focus on the positive, to believe in your abilities, and to visualize your success, you will find that obstacles begin to seem smaller, challenges become more manageable, and your path to success becomes clearer. Your mind has the ability to make the impossible seem possible, but only if you believe it. When you believe in yourself, when you believe that you can achieve your dreams, your mind will begin to work in your favor. It will help you find solutions, inspire creative ideas, and keep you motivated even when the journey is tough. One of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal, your ability to change your mindset. Mindset is everything. It is the lens through which you view the world and the filter through which you process your experiences. A positive mindset allows you to see opportunities in every challenge, to learn from every setback, and to grow from every failure. A negative mindset, on the other hand, causes you to see only the obstacles, to focus on what's wrong, and to give up before you've even tried. Your mindset determines whether you see failure as the end or as a lesson that will bring you closer to success. It determines whether you view challenges as insurmountable or as opportunities to rise above. The great thing about mindset is that it is something you can control. You can choose to change the way you think, to change the way you view the world, and to change the way you react to challenges. Every time you catch yourself thinking negative thoughts, you have the power to reframe them, to replace them with thoughts that are empowering and uplifting. You can choose to believe in your potential, to trust that you have the strength to overcome any obstacle, and to stay focused on your goals. On your goal. Your mind is incredibly powerful, and by mastering it, you unlock your true potential. Visualization is another powerful technique that can help you harness the power of your mind. By visualizing your success, by imagining yourself achieving your goals, you are essentially programming your mind for success. When you visualize success, your mind begins to create the pathways to make it a reality. It helps you to stay focused, to stay motivated, and to remain resilient no matter what challenges you may face. Visualization works because your mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is vividly imagined. By regularly visualizing your success, you are sending a clear message to your subconscious mind that this is your reality. Your subconscious mind then works behind the scenes to align your actions, your decisions, and your beliefs with your vision of success. But it's not enough to simply think positively or visualize your success. You must also take action. Your mind is a powerful tool, but it needs direction. It needs to be aligned with purposeful, consistent action. Your thoughts will not lead to success unless they are backed by the work, the effort, and the persistence necessary to bring your vision to life. Your mind is the blueprint, but your actions are the construction. The more focused and deliberate your actions are, the more your mind will work to guide you toward your goals. When you believe in your vision, when you trust in your abilities, and when you take consistent, intentional steps toward your dreams, you will begin to see the results manifest in your life. It's important to remember that your mind is constantly being shaped by your environment, your experiences, and your influences. The people you surround yourself with, the media you consume, and the conversations you engage in all play a role in shaping your mindset. Therefore, it's crucial to be mindful of what you allow into your mind. Surround yourself with positive influences, people who lift you up, and ideas that inspire you. Protect your mind from negativity, from toxic environments, and from self-limiting beliefs. Feed your mind with the right resources, the right thoughts, and the right attitude, and you will see your life transform. Your mind holds the key to everything you want to achieve. It is your most powerful tool, capable of turning dreams into reality. The question is, will you use it to empower yourself to push past your limitations and to create the life you desire? The choice is in your hands.